okay? Thank you again for coming today. It really means a lot. Can we just give a hand to the chamber singers and the sax quartet? Now, we don't want that again. Oh yeah, oops. More technical difficulty here. We love that so much. I would love if it would work for me. Oh man, come on. Well.
Oh.
Yeah, the cursor is not. Okay, here we go. We're just going to do this for a sec. Okay, let's see about that now. There we go. All right. So, those first two pieces that you heard today, Ave Atque Vale and the Encroaching Dance, those are what you, oh, come on, Logic. Sorry, one sec. I am scrambling today. I don't know if y'all can tell. It's one of them days. Let's see. Shabam. Shabam. Boom, baby. Yeah, let's go. Whoa. So, those first two pieces that you heard, that's what a lot of you may think of when you think of a music composer. Someone who, just writes music, writes, concert pieces or chamber pieces or, music just for music's sake. But that last thing that I did there, that's sort of a live version of what I really like to do here, which is scoring for visual media. Writing music for the screen, and in my case in particular, for the video games. So, with that, who am I? How did I get here? I'm not really sure about that still, but it's all good. I spent my freshman year at Luther College in Decorah, Iowa. Ooh. Yeah. You know what's up. If you know, you know. But first, I spent a year there. Wasn't really for me, Like I said, if you know, you know. And then I transferred here starting in the fall of 2022. So yeah, it is a good change. A lot less expensive too. I began studying music composition with Dr. Kalvicki, this guy here, who he has been so helpful with getting all this together. Thank you. Yeah, so I started studying with him. I don't know why the thing keeps popping up. I closed it already. It's whatever. But I started studying with him, and we really started a deep dive into the technology of writing music, the tools that a modern composer would use in order to be successful in this industry. So, why compose for video games in particular? For me, I love the idea of music as just a piece of a larger experience. When you write chamber music or concert music or whatever, everything is encapsulated in just the music there. But when you're writing for the screen, it's not just about what you think sounds maybe like good to you or what you think is like fun or whatever. It's about what fits the scene. And so the piano piece there, I chose that clip in particular because it's such a great encapsulation of all the different moods that visual media can go through that quickly, I mean, going from sort of soft and peaceful, more adventurous, dangerous, all these different emotions can be, they change on literally a press of a button. So, apart from that, the video game industry in particular is a very, let's just say, profitable industry. There's a lot of money going through there. Just last year alone, it reached a record revenue of $71.92 billion in just the US, and supporting over 350,000 jobs. So that guy on the corner there, that's gonna be me when I have all 71 million. It is such a expressive medium too, and it's one that, you know, it's been in my life for almost as long as I can remember. Not quite, but, you know, since I was a little baby pretty much. And it's really, the music that comes from these sorts of things oftentimes will stick with you more due to the emotional experiences you have playing a game or something like that, or watching a film. And also, it's fun, like, I like doing it, so I'm gonna keep doing it. But that's the main reason why. So, how is it done? Most music today is written in what's known as a DAW, or a digital audio workstation. We're not really like, you know, we're not doing what they used to do where, you know, pen and paper on a piano and just handwriting every single note. Nowadays, we have these things called VSTs, virtual instruments. And so it really, it removes a lot of the limits on what you can create as just a solo musician, you know? It allows more, how do you say, expression, I guess? Yeah, just more genres, more possibilities when you're writing your music. So, and you know, a lot of the music today that sounds acoustic is actually done with virtual instruments. They take these really good musicians a lot of times, sample them, record them, and then you can use those sounds in your own creations. It's really, really cool stuff. So learning this technology, learning how to use it was really where I started progressing as a composer. My first year at Luther, you know, but the composition there, it's all focused on sheet music. You know, there was almost no technological aspects at all to it. And quite simply, that wasn't what I was looking for in college. I need to actually know the tools and the skills in order to succeed in this industry. So that takes us to my journey here. The first year, like I said, began studying with Dr. Palbicki there, and you know, learning how to use these DAWs, learning how things such as mixing, quantizing, which is when basically making the notes fit in properly, like mathematically on beat. It's very, very cool stuff. And basically just, you know, basic skills on how to write music that fits well with the scene, you know, because it's a completely different challenge than writing music just for yourself. So, what we started doing here at River Falls is we started doing this process which we've dubbed rescores. The process of a rescore is basically we take a clip of either like a game, or maybe like, you know, you can do it with movies too. I'm a game guy, I'm just gonna talk about games, sorry. You record it with the music turned off, and a lot of games nowadays will let you actually turn the music off in the settings, so it makes it real easy to record. Then, after you record that clip, you edit the footage of the whatever you recorded, you know, because you'll have sometimes, you know, half an hour footage sometimes. You just cut it down, make a nice little clip out of it, and then you score that clip, writing the music and blending it with the existing video and audio sound effects. It's, like it says up there, essentially an attempt to emulate the adaptability of games, because like I said before, they can change on the press of a button. And so you have to, you know, you have to write your music like that. Like it will change instantly. So with that, that takes us to my very first project that I ever did here at River Falls. was saying before, there's a huge range of genres, expressive ideas. So the next one we did, if this will work, please, thank you, maybe. Yeah, there we go. The next one is completely different style. When we went into the spring semester, we decided we're gonna switch it up and do a little bit of horror. Because, as you know, that is a big thing in the industry right now, both games and movies especially. I mean, you guys see all the freaking crap horror movies that come out, right? Someone's got to write music for that. Might as well be me. I might as well get that $71.92 billion. Come on.
Power. Ventilation's up. Power to the elevators.
Hazardous anomaly detected. Quarantine activated.
Another malfunction?
No. The quarantine systems are all fine.
Oh, wait. Do you hear that?
Yeah, I hear it.
Yeah, man?
Take it easy. Daniel's get those elevators running.
There's something in here with us.
Up there! Oh, God! Shit! No! Daniel, get the doors open! Head from the door!
One sec here. One sec. But yeah, so those were my first two big projects, and those are only clips from them. The actual videos are much longer, but you know, that was me essentially learning how this whole thing works, how to fit music to the screen, but I was still sort of finding my voice with all that. So, oh come on. I love this stuff so much. There we go. Sweet, okay, swag, super swag. So, after I completed, you know, started getting my footing a little bit with this technology, that's what took me into year 2 here. So, in the fall of 2023, I had the amazing opportunity to attend Game Sound Con in Los Angeles, California. with Dr. Kalbicki and fellow composer Sam Nesbitt, who graduated, was it last year now? Yeah. Yeah, so Sam graduated last year. And this opportunity was huge for me. I got to meet, incredible composers like Sky Loon, he's worked on Destiny, if any of you know that. Marty O'Donnell worked on the Halo games. Alan Howarth was sort of a mix of the two. He worked on all the original Halloween movies and all the original Star Trek shows as well, doing sound design on those. So it's a great networking opportunity to sort of get your foot in the door in the industry, so to say. And so attending this convention here, we went to tons of just seminar kind of talks discussing, the creative process, the technological process, different aspects of music and audio, and all that good stuff. And going here, it really just made me want to double down because it made the dream feel much more real. Actually being there, seeing these people, talking to these people, it made it seem that, oh, this is actually something attainable. This isn't just a pipe dream, So that's when I started really, really going deep into this stuff. So here's a few pictures from there. There's Alan Howarth on the top left. We got Marty O'Donnell top right, and then down there we were actually at the Alfred Newman scoring stage in Fox Studios, which was pretty cool. We got a tour of that. Got to see, how the professional studios like to do it, and that helped us, I'm sure, with our recording session that we just had this last Saturday, which we will get to. But yeah, it was just an incredible experience to learn about so many things that I had no clue even existed, like technologies I had never even heard of, and they're just being talked about left and right over there. So it was an incredible experience, and that made me want to work even harder. So in the fall, I had another project, which I think is much better than those first ones. Because those first ones, it's they're all right, but I was finding my voice still. I was figuring out how to do things. Now is when I really start to feel a little more comfortable.
I should scan it first. These things on its legs are glowing. I think it's target. There, that did something. It's charging up again. Finished charging. It's done. You did it! There should be one more node to override. Good. Stand by. I'm sending Hephaestus back to you.
story to tell. By that point, I'm getting a lot thicker with the orchestration there, a lot more layers to the music, just getting more comfortable with it, you know? So, going on from there, entering the spring of last year, I guess. Jesus, only last year? Oh my God. That's crazy. But entering the spring of last year, with this newfound knowledge that we gained from going to GameStown and going to all these events, we decided to take on a much more daunting project for the semester. This is where we started looking not into just music, but sound design as well. So basically what we did is we did the same process as before, record and edit a clip, but this time we did it with no sound at all. No audio whatsoever, and we created every single effect, and we did voiceover work, we did Foley work, which is basically recording like effects, you know, so like footsteps, literally every sound that you hear, we put in there. So this is sort of an example of what that looks like. We have dialogue up top in that sort of middle box there. Every line has like different aspects of the voiceover work. We have sound effects. We have, if you keep scrolling down, that's where you get to the music, and it's like, you know, that's after like a million other frickin' things, so yeah, that's fun. And then on the right, that was a big thing that we looked at in GameStown as well, and just a good thing for scoring in general, making marker lists and cue lists, you know. We had to go through frame by frame on this video and figure out where every single sound effect was gonna go in. And that's how you do it for film, you know, film scoring and film sound effects. That's, you know, you have to go through and get literally everything. So it was a big ordeal, but it was very worth it because the final product is pretty freaking sweet.
Did I lose you there for a moment? You know what's on my mind. My baby brother Dylan. 17 years since the men of this bureau took him. Shit. Shit. You want me to pick it up? The murder weapon? Really? And there goes the poster.
Objects of power can cause or be results of AWE's altered world events, intrusions upon the perceived reality. Now, the surface weapon is of course a prime example of an OOP, a very powerful one, ingrained in the Bureau's DNA, a key component in our prime candidate program. Come out of that Russian roulette a winner and you're it.
Look at this place. Where am I? The same gun. Okay, now I have a gun.
Oh, that's all you get. So that one there, that last project was really cool. There's a big gunfight at the end, which was complete pain in the keister to get every single bullet sound effect into that thing, but it turned out really good. So yeah, check that out later once I have the YouTube link up there. But yeah, so this was basically our big project for that year, and I would say personally it felt pretty freaking successful. So that brings us over to year 3. This year. How'd that happen? How'd that happen? Why am I aging? Like, what? How's that work? I don't know. But this year has really been the year to, really focus in on my future and what I'm going to keep doing. So, I've been focusing a lot on getting ready to apply for the master's program at University of Southern California. And one of the reasons, first off, it's literally like in Hollywood. Like the amount of connections you get just by going to the school, insane. And that is hugely important in terms of even getting a job in the first place. So that's number one. But number 2, they have a freaking 1-year master's program there. And come on. I could be done in a year? That would be freaking nice. So those are some of the reasons it's really appealing to me to go there. And once again, we had the opportunity to go to Game Sound Con in the fall with, this time, fellow composer Brady O'Brien here. Good guy, Brady. We love Brady. So we got to attend, and this time we focused a lot more on just the technological aspects. Going to less talks about sort of the creative process and more just figuring out the actual, tech of it. So learned more about game engines, how they work, the middleware, which is essentially software that determines when these sound effects are played, when music is played. It communicates with the game engine, which is where all the visuals and things you interact with are. So it was really interesting stuff. I've barely scratched the surface of it, I feel like. So got to meet a lot of more great composers there, including Gary Shyman, who both, writes a bunch of cool ass music that I like. And he's also found out while we were there, the head of the screen scoring department at USC. So, that's kind of big, meeting the guy who might be my professor in a couple of years here, So got to meet him, got to sort of figure out more of what the grad school process needs, what they need for applications. And so with that in mind, we began working on the biggest project that I've ever done, which was the live orchestral recording session that we just did this last Saturday here. So really fresh, and it went really well. You're gonna hear a little bit of it.
If you were part of it.
Yes, please do. Congrats to you. They all sounded amazing. Absolutely great. It was so much fun, and everyone was so focused and just into it, and it was just amazing. And you don't get opportunities like that very often, especially in smaller schools like ours. So having that chance to have a big professional recording session like that's huge for just experience. So we start working on this after Game Sound Con, basically around second half of fall semester is when we really start getting into this thing. But December was coming up and the composition showcase was coming up, and it was a couple weeks out, and I was like, I kind of want something to put in there because this wasn't going to be done. So I decided to go and do a project complete opposite style from, big acoustic orchestra. But before we get to that, that's more Game Sound Con pictures. That's Gary Scheinman down in the right. And that's sort of an example of what the talks sort of look like. It's people essentially just lecturing about how cool music is and all the tech. So it's great. But then we get into this project, which I basically wrote in I think it was 2 weeks, wasn't it? Yeah. Yeah, so there's just a clip from that, but yeah. project was, you know, a really good sign that, you know, going to school and like working on this stuff makes you better at it, surprisingly. Like, who would have thought? But yeah, getting that done in a couple weeks, you know, speed of work is really important in the industry as well. You know, you don't have time to just sit on your butt and, you know, oh, I have writer's block for 3 months, I can't write anything. It don't work that way. You do that, you're not getting a job again. So, you know, the fact that I feel like I can write things quickly now is, you know, a huge benefit. But that takes us to this semester, right now, where we are, and, you know, essentially where I'm going later. What's up next? This whole semester I've been really focused on working on my conducting technique, especially with Dr. Sarah Babb back there. She has been I've been taking conducting lessons with her all semester, and she has been immensely helpful in both the first piece you heard today, Ave, as well as this next project that we're getting to here. But thank you again, Dr. Babb. It's been great. But she's been very helpful with that. So I basically started really focusing on this in order to lead this newly formed UWRF Cinema Symphony in a large recording session, which I've mentioned a couple times, just this last Saturday, with fellow composers Sam Nesbitt and Landon Zintara. Landon. He writes incredible music, you guys, just so you know, like insanely good. Like I'm in awe every time I hear it, for real. Like good stuff. But you know, we're all focused on getting this big recording session done. It is by far the largest thing I've ever worked on, and I think it's the best thing I've ever worked on as well. So right now, we just finished this recording session, so now we're going through the process of editing, mixing, and syncing to the videos, going through every take that we recorded, picking out the best takes from those, and basically getting it ready to be premiered in the fall, along with Landon and Sam's pieces as well. It's all gonna be like one big sort of concert thingy, kind of. We'll figure it out later. But we're getting that ready right now, and once that's done, basically it's all eyes on USC. Just getting ready to apply there, getting ready to study there, and you know, setting up, getting my career going as well by setting up freelancing profiles on websites such as Upwork. You know, places where you can actually get work, whether it's music or just audio work, whatever work you can get, that's good for the future. So, getting that ready. How do I do that? To write more music. Like, that's what I do. So, that brings us to this last project that we did here. So, we had over 30 musicians here, both students, area teachers, professors, and outside hired string quartet as well, which they're really good too. But we had all these, you know, incredible performers, and once again, thank you everyone who was in that this last weekend. Incredible stuff. Absolutely wonderful work. So thank you, and you literally bringing dreams to life right here. So, you know, this project I was doing a rescore of God of War, which I don't know if many of you know that game, but it's a pretty big one, and it's incredibly cinematic. Like, I mean, the visuals in it, the conversations, everything, it's like movie quality, you know? And so I thought this would be a really good one to do. I wrote 13 separate cues throughout this whole about 17-minute video that I basically wrote entirely new music for. And now I have a little bit of the raw audio from Saturday. Obviously this still has to go through the editing and mixing processes and such, but this is just a little taste of what will be premiered in the fall. And even without editing, it's freaking awesome. So here. like to follow my YouTube, shameless plug here, but you'll see you can see all the full clips, full things of everything that was shown here today, as well as any future products, including when that God of War stuff is all nice and edited and full, you know? So it's gonna be really cool. But thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you.